Welcome to TapRooT TV. I'm Michelle Wishoun.
Hi, and I'm Ken Reed.
Hi, and today we want to talk to you about a new session we had at our summit this year. It became a very popular session very quickly, and it was called Roadmap for Success.
Yeah, at the end of each of our TapRooT summits, and this time it was in just outside of Houston. We're just back, it's been just over a week now.
Yeah.
One of the very last sessions that we have is an opportunity for our customers to have a plan when they get back to the office, some kind of a written plan. And this year we decided to do that a little bit differently than we've done it in the past. And like you said, everybody really seemed to like it. We had some really good comments on our feedback forms, and everybody was excited about it.
Yes, it was really nice.
Yeah. So what we thought we'd do is just kind of go over a little bit what that roadmap looked like. Myself and Michelle both facilitated part of that discussion with our customers. We were all sitting around tables and had the opportunity to kind of walk through exactly what you would want to do at your company to get TapRooT set up, kind of figure out where you're at, and then how to kind of progress your improvement programs through the course of the year.
Yeah.
So I thought what we do is just kind of show this a little bit. We have a form that we use to help everybody out, and I just thought we'd go over this form a little bit to kind of show you a little bit about what we did, and maybe give an example of what one of these roadmaps might look like. So I've got that pulled up, so we'll show this on the video here, and you see that it's got these 5 different sections, and we asked each of our customers to just fill out one at a time. I think is how we did that.
Yes.
Just fill out one at a time each of these different areas, and we gave everybody a few minutes to think about it, and you would want to do the same thing. You'd kind of want to think about this first column here. This Discover is really designed to give you an idea of where we're at.
Right. Right.
So we want our customers to kind of think about what are we doing in our improvement programs, how are our investigations going right now, how are we using TapRooT in our investigation programs?
Yes,
right?
It's basically what you know. What do you know is going on at your company with respect to TapRooT? And getting back to the point about going through one by one, you do want to take, even if you're by yourself, you do want to take about 3 to 5 minutes on each of these and really think through them.
Right. Yep. So you take that first column on this Discover phase and just write down very, very simply where we're at and how we're doing with our TapRooT investigations. And this isn't to decide if we like it or not. It's just physically what are we doing right now. When we get to the next phase here, in the evaluate phase, that is where we take a look at where we're at and do we like it?
Right.
What's working, what's not working, write down the good stuff and the bad stuff, how these different, how our current plan in our Discover phase, how it's working, and what kinds of things do we need to maybe improve in the future. And like you said, just take a few minutes, really concentrate on each of those items and think to yourself, how are investigations working? For example, maybe on the Discover phase you decided that we're using TapRooT for major investigations. Well, in the evaluate phase you might ask yourself, are we happy with that? Do we want to be using it for more simple problems also? So that would be an example of something that you might see in that evaluate phase. The next phase then is plan. So you take that information that you found during your evaluate phase and ask yourself, so how do we fix that? What kinds of things can we do to fix that? And I don't know, some examples of things that they came up with. Maybe we need to have somebody attend a 5-day course because we don't have anybody who does a QC check on all of our investigations. Or
send employees to the summit every year.
Yeah, maybe go to the summit each year.
Yes.
Or even things that aren't TapRooT necessarily related. Maybe it'd be just things like, ensure that we have a good plan in place for rewarding good investigations. That's these aren't just things that we do, but things that your company can do to do a better job in the future on your investigation systems. So that would be under the plan phase here is what are we going to do now after we've evaluated? What are we going to do to get better next time? Okay. And then the implement phase. So that's our plan. What do we need to go implement this? Do we need to talk to my manager about budget for maybe a dinner at the end of the year for each of our investigation teams? Do we need to have a process in place to evaluate all of our investigations, and who's going to do that, and how are we actually going to implement that idea?
Yep.
So that's what we put in that phase. These last two sections, that plan and the implement, I think probably took longer than 3 or 4 minutes.
They did.
They were probably like 10 minutes or so, if I remember right.
Yes, and you'll find yourself going back.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
if you get the implement, you'll go back because you're still thinking about plan, so you'll go back and add to it. So this will grow faster than you think.
Yeah, there's a lot of great thoughts come out as you're really working through this. Plus, if you work in a group, and you talk a little bit, you don't want to have a lot of conversations going at the same time, but at the same in the same token, you want to be get some ideas from other people. So at the summit, you had maybe 3 or 4 companies all sitting around the same table, talking to each other about ideas. So that helped quite a bit. And then finally, the last column was the continuously improve. How are we going to, what are we going to do in the future to make sure our plan is working? Do we want to do an annual evaluation of all of our investigations to see how they're working? Are they getting better? One of the things that we offer, if you're interested and if companies are looking at doing that, is we can call you once every 6 months and just do a quick sit down with you on the phone, kind of talk through how things are going, what do you need from us, what can we do to help you out, and we do that quite often, and that might be something that you put in your improvement phase there, is what can we do to help out from our end. We're always happy to help our customers maybe talk through your roadmap and see how it's working. And see if there's
it's very helpful.
Yeah, see if there's something else you need to do. So that's kind of what the roadmap looks like. It gives you the opportunity to really sit down, figure out where I'm at, how it's working, what kinds of things do we need to do to fix the problems that we see, and then a very detailed implementation plan, and then finally a good evaluation plan to see, it's just good to have milestones that you can check and see if it's getting better.
It is. And you'll look at there's value delivered under each of these columns, and you're going to want to look down there and ask yourself, well, do I have a structured implementation plan?
Right, that's right.
And so that will help you gauge what you have at the top.
That's right. Yep, that just gives you a little hint about what that column means, and helps you figure out, is that column working for me, and do I have all the data I need there? So so that's what an implementation plan might look like, just generally. Now, Mark put together a really cool one, just to kind of give you an idea of what one might look like for a company. So I'm just going to kind of bring this up here so you can take a look. And this might be like a generic company's idea. He just kind of put this together in a few minutes of what each of these different columns might look like. So here on the left side on the Discover, you'll see that it talks about, hey, we use TapRooT for major investigations, and we don't use it for smaller stuff, and we don't really look at statistics to see what kind of root causes we're seeing. And then the evaluate phase, maybe management needs a little bit of training because they don't quite understand the value of TapRooT and the things that you can get out of it. And do my investigators feel like they've just got too much to do? They're overworked with major investigations. So that would be the evaluate. This is what we're doing in the Discover phase. Here's some problems we see in the evaluate phase. And then how are we going to fix that is over in the plan phase. And some things that you might think of over there is, hey, we need to get a management overview so that management can kind of get an idea of what TapRooT does. Because we all know our management doesn't necessarily get into the weeds of what we're doing.
Exactly.
We know what we're doing, but management may not quite understand.
Don't know.
And then, of course, under your implementation plan, there is different things that you can think of there. Start using TapRooT for simple instruments down here. So you don't have to wait for the big stuff. Just use it up for the simpler things. And then finally, over the continuously improved. These are your quarterly reviews, maybe annual independent reviews. This might be where you'd ask us to come in and, hey, can you take a look at a few of our investigations? What do you think? We'd be happy to do that. Again, we don't have to show up to your company unless you want us to, but we can do all these via webinars or phone calls to help out with that. So this is just an example of what maybe a typical company's roadmap, implementation roadmap may look like. And like you said, they were really excited about this year.
Yes, they were. We were too.
Yeah, we were too. It was kind of fun, kind of working with our companies and seeing what they've been doing and what, unless you really sit down and think about it, you're not quite sure where you're at. And this just gave you a great opportunity to evaluate your systems, evaluate your programs, and not just come up with problems, but actual solutions about how we want to fix it in the future.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's just, if you're interested in something like that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to us. You can email us at info@taproot.com. and they'll put you in touch with the correct person. All of us are very familiar with that, and we can help you with your roadmap and send you one and get started in helping your company.
Right. Yeah. Don't wait for the summit. That's going to be next year in just outside of Austin, I guess.
Yes,
we're
it
holding
is.
next
Horseshoe
year.
Bay.
Horseshoe Bay, and
Yeah.
in March of next year.
9 through 13.
9 through 13, is that what it is?
I think
9
so.
through 13, and that gives you the opportunity to kind of plan a little bit, but you don't have to wait till next March to figure this out.
Yeah.
We can do this at any time to set up a roadmap with you, and just, it only takes about, really just talking through this on the phone a little bit. We can get you going in about 15, 20 minutes. Maybe you'll take a little time afterwards to flesh
Sure.
it out a little bit.
Yep.
And then we're happy to help with that. So,
Yeah.
so terrific.
Visit us on any of our social media platforms, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.